What's up, geniuses? Welcome to For the Record. I'm your host, Markman. Now, today's guest is someone who I've been interviewing for years. He's a dope MC. He's a student of the game. He's a teacher. He's a producer. He's a New York Times bestselling author. Super successful, all-around great guy. He's a dad, and he's the artist behind the new album, No Pressure. He says it's his last album, and he's retiring after this. And he's come here to talk to us about it. Yo, this is my brother for real. I can't even front. That was a very formal introduction. This is my brother Logic, man. Welcome back, bro.
What's up? Thank you so much for having me. This is dope.
Nah, man. I wish we could do it in person like we normally do. We've been through so much. I mean, we were just talking about it, the Under Pressure release. We did a mini doc with Mary Jo and in Lenny's basement, and
Yeah.
for everybody, and every album we did something. And so I'm glad we get to do this, man, seeing as how this is the last one. You know, the first question, look, there's a really long list of rappers who have announced their retirement for various reasons. So, you know, the number one question, I know you answered this a million times, but is this really it? Is this no more albums, no more mixtapes, no more singles? You've been hitting at it for years. You're finally ready.
Yeah, for sure, dog. I'm just trying to be a dad, shoot guns, go fishing, have fun. I moved to Montana. That's where I'm at now. I just have no desire to publicly rap. I'm gonna rap forever. Shout out Ace, my assistant in the background. I'm gonna rap forever. I have free mixtapes, like creating them as though they're free mixtapes that I've worked on. When I finished this album, I penned in like, I think a weekend, I did like 14 songs, dog, like, and rapping on everybody's beats, you know what I mean? From Rigor Mortis to Comfortable by Wayne to Lupe Fiasco's Kick Push. Like, I love it. It's therapy for me. It's something that I'm always going to do. And I am always going to create music. Sometimes I think about making my own gorillas, you know, could be fun. Who knows? But all I know that right now, I really, when it comes to rap and shit like that, it's why I put so much into this album. I mean, I put my whole career, and it's like an ode to hip hop itself, like, into this. So is it? Yes. And I'm going to keep saying that. I'm not even going to allude like, well, you know, maybe I'm not. I'm just not even going to do that to my fans. And, you know, I told a buddy of mine, like, it's just anybody who's like, oh, he'll be back. It's just like, okay, you're going to be waiting. You know what I mean? But it's all good.
Just sitting by that door, just waiting for Logic to walk back in.
I know. It's like that episode of Futurama with, what was Fry's dog's name again? Oh, Seymour. I don't know if you've ever seen Futurama or that episode, but yo, honestly, that shit makes me cry. I'll be chilling like with my wife sometimes, and I'll think about that, and I just start crying because it's like the most saddest episode, damn near in like just television history, of this dog who's just waiting for his owner to come back, and he never does, and he waits and waits and dies. Oh god.
It just got
okay.
dark.
Let's talk about some other
this is
shit.
A celebration, man. This is a celebration of a very dope career, man, and all that you've given us. Look, you've been talking about for some time. I remember when we sat down and spoke about everybody. You were talking about doing your last album. There was the hidden message for the fans who really got the hidden message in everybody.
Yeah.
So you've been contemplating it for a while, but can you pinpoint the moment when you decided like, yo, this is it?
It was kind of like during this album, and it's something that I had thought about for a long time. That's why I even called the album No Pressure. I'm gonna sit comfortably. I hope you don't mind. Because it's like now there's no more pressure. There's no, I have to be this or I have to be that or do this or that or anymore. And it's just kind of like, here you go. Like, take it or leave it, love it or hate it. I love myself. That's all that matters, you know? And about halfway through, I started realizing, yo, this is it. Because obviously I had the album Ultra 85 that I wanted to do. And it was like a culmination of the story. And it was like a whole thing. And da-da-da. And I was just like, why if I don't feel like it? Because a fan could be like, but we want it. And it's like, okay, cool. So do you just want a half-ass version of me to make this for you so that I can make some money and you're disappointed because it's not what you wanted to be or da-da-da? Like, this is what you wanted. Let's just be real. Like, if Ultra 85 was the last, it was this. This is the one that you wanted. You wanted the raps. You wanted the hunger because I wanted it. You know what I mean? Writing my raps in a real, hey, can you hand me my book? Sorry, my bad, brother. I'm going to show you this. It's right there. It's on top of the vinyl player. Writing my raps on paper, pen and paper for the first time in, 15 years, dog. Like loose papers. And I got, what's in here? This is Man I Is. Like I wrote this in the studio. Like it's just on a loose leaf paper. Like
That's my
this
favorite song of the
is
album.
thank you. This is the last one. This is like it's the culmination. It is Ultra 85. It's just got a different name, you know what I mean? Like and that's what happens. Things change, people change, ideas and all this stuff. And so for me, I really believe that I just in the middle of it knew it was going to be my last one, and that's why I wanted to go so hard. Every bar, every line, like there was times where I'd write 4 bars. Old me from Under Pressure to every album except this, I would sit down and basically just write the whole song. Even if I was in the studio for 4 hours, I'd be like, this is it, I'm going to finish it, I'm going to do it, and then I would do it, and then that's it. With this album, I would write, let's see, let me find a really good one. Ooh, originally, the verse on Heard Him Say was on a song and a beat that I produced called Demons. And you can see it. I've been battling with my demons. I'm cowardice. When I see him, I'm powerless. I can't beat him. But deep down, I feel like I need him. Power is freedom. You can lead him, but can't feed him. Dying on, smiling on my face, but I'm dying under the surface. What is my purpose? I'm feeling worthless. Tell me what worth is. I would write that and then be like, okay, what's next? Do I feel anything? Old me would just force some shit. What rhymes? Go to the thesaurus in my head. On this, it was like, all right, cool. And I'd step away for 4 hours or 4 days and then come back and finish another bar or 56 bars because I was so inspired. That's what went into this album.
That's dope to hear because so much of everybody's process now, and it's not knocking it, it's like you do what works for you. And so much of everybody's process now is going into the booth and just saying whatever comes to my mind, which is cool and it works. That kind of reminds me of a Mos Def line from Black on Both Sides when he was like, "Oh, something scribbled a page, I write a rhyme, sometimes won't finish for days." You know what I mean? And Mos being one of the illest to say, listen, this process is okay too. It doesn't all have to come out in the moment. It could be very well thought out and intentional and based off of when you're feeling it and step back when you're not feeling it. So that's dope.
I think it's just cool to say that though sometimes, right? The Wayne, the Jay-Z, because they're masters at it. So then everyone else kind of went, oh yeah, I just went in and just did this thing. Like I've even caught myself doing and saying that and actually doing it before. But is it the best outcome? Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it is really in the moment and it is this random thought that is special and amazing, but not every fucking song. You know what I mean?
Right. Nah, that's dope. And obviously, man, you've been talking. You're a dad now. Shout out to little Bobby, man. Congratulations. And I know you talked a lot
Bob,
about that factoring into your decision too, and wanting to spend more time with your family. I say all that to say because in hearing this story, and again, as a Logic fan, it is a bit sad, right? But there is this very celebratory part of it, and part of the process of me listening to this album and then lead up to it was going back to listen to all the other albums before this one came. And one of my favorite things, it made me think of Growing Pains 3 because, I mean, throughout your career, you rap so much about the dysfunction in your family, man, and the drug addiction, the violence, the racism. And so in Growing Pains 3, when you said, man, I turned on the TV, let it wash my brain, pretend that family's my family to avoid the pain. That bar always stuck out to me because it's kind of sad. I can envision a little kid watching TV, be it Family Matters or Full House or, whatever was on TGI Friday, in their own personal hell and wishing, damn, I wish I had this much love that they had on TV. And I feel like you've created that for yourself through rap, through the success. You've been able to change your circumstance. Obviously, you found love and you had a child. And this is almost like the realization of maybe what you always wanted.
Yeah, I actually wrote a song on the guitar yesterday or the day before that about just that. And it's like, it's a real dope. I think that I'll probably end up titling the song Homecoming. But it's like basically saying all I ever wanted was a place to call my home. All I ever wanted was a family of my own. Back when I was just a boy, I used to dream of all the things I knew deep down I'd never have. But now that I'm a man, I understand that all the doubt I had back then was just pretend. I'm coming home to the place where I belong. I'm coming home to a place I've never known. So it's like, how can home be a place you've never known? It's because I've never been here. And now that I'm here, I realized it's not necessarily where I was all along, because that wouldn't make any sense, but it was the destination all along. And now that I'm here through my ups and downs, my good times and my bad, being happy and sad, uh, I just appreciate it. I appreciate life. I love my health. I love my fans. I love you. I love what this genre of music has done for me. And I'm here. It's a culmination of that. And the family aspect of it is the most important thing. It's pretty incredible.
That's great. Do you feel like, because there's a lot, there's stuff on this album as well, interludes talking about the things that we place value on, right? The material things,
Yeah.
the trophies. You even talk about your Rolex but really having that being a heirloom that you could pass down to your son. Um,
Yep.
and I get caught up in it. I value things like I want the nice car, I want the Rolex, I want this. Is the family the trophy for you? Have you hit the end goal? Have you got the prize that you always yearn for?
Not to sound like super hippie, man, but the journey is the destination, man. So like I'm realizing, like, for me, there is no end goal. There used to be. Now that I'm getting into acting and shit, I'm getting some crazy dope roles and stuff. Uh, I catch myself on set opposite of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You know what I mean? Doing a role, doing something, and I'm like, this is one of my favorite actors of all time, and I'm in a scene with him, multiple scenes. This is crazy. When I was younger, it was like, oh, okay, I signed a Def Jam. Sure, I appreciate it, but like, what's next? Okay, I got fans, but when can I go on tour? Okay, I did 200 people. When can I do 1,000? Okay, I did 1,000. When can I do 5? I did 5. When can I sell at the Garden? I did, you got people like, oh, you ain't never going to release a project. You release a project. Yeah, but it didn't go gold. Then you go gold. Yeah, but it didn't go platinum. Then you go platinum. Yeah, well, then you go fucking 6 times platinum. It's never good enough, dog. It's like a drug that, like, because you're so, and with film, with life, with where I am now, yes, I have goals, but it's about being like, whoa, I'm on set and I have butterflies. Rap doesn't give me butterflies anymore. It used to. Like, I'd be on stage and be like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like, and I'm like, whatever, but when I played the Garden, there was no butterflies. There was happiness for sure. There was excitement. There was like, damn, I really achieved this thing. But I wasn't nervous stepping out there. And that's not even a bad thing. I believe I'm a master of my craft. And I'm happy that I could feel that way on stage. But I need something more. When I'm with my son and, he chokes on air and I freak out, like that moment of making sure he's okay and everything's fine, and acting and doing these different things. It's just, I don't know how to, like, I did this Twitch thing the other day where it's like a release party. I was nervous as shit, like, to talk to my fans. That's what I'm excited for.
We saw it, man. It got really emotional too, and I think that's why we love you. I think that's why the Rat Pack really connects with you, because you've given us so much of yourself, in the music, or even when in the meet and greets, or whenever we get to meet you during interviews, during whatever, right? You've always been someone that I've looked to, and I know the fans look to, for positivity. Like you've actually given me personal advice, like, the metaphor of when I remember when I was kind of like feeling it in my personal life, and everybody just needed help, and you was like, nah, you got to help yourself before you help it. You got to put the oxygen mask on before you help somebody else.
100%.
So I've always kind of looked to you for that, and it's always been in the music. Dark Place was a song that shocked me because it was so honest, and it kind of hurt to hear that you were going through that. But usually we get the happy ending. Usually we get the turn at the end, and Dark Place just kind of ended. I'm going to spit a couple of lines. I remember making music, a line just depending on the microphone, but nowadays it's hard to get in the zone. Writing rhymes was easy before the fame. Now I'm constantly overthinking every line. It's a shame. Rap used to fill me with joy. Now it's nothing but pain. So, I mean, you were talking about just before, like not being fulfilled, not getting the butterflies. But what was the pain that it was actually bringing you?
I think the pain was like releasing my last album that I had so much fun doing, and then just everyone completely like shitting on you or this or that because they hold you to a standard. And so I didn't realize I was at that standard because everyone was constantly telling me that I was never good enough. And I was like, oh wait, I'm the real lyricist guy? You guys actually respect me that way? Because when my first album came out, you said it was trash. And when the second album came out, you said it wasn't good as the third one. And then when the third one came out, you said I went pop. And then when Bobby Tarantino came out, you said I sold out. And then so it was always this thing of just not being good enough for anyone ever. And I think what I was really doing is I was trying to search for that acceptance in hip hop, which is mainly the loud minority of hip hop Twitter or whatever the case may be, that I wished I would be loved. And it's funny because, I'm not on the internet, I'm not doing all this shit, but homies are like, yo, hip hop Twitter kind of loving this album. Yo, Reddit, yo, Kanye to the, like these places that I was like, oh, nah, like, like would never go. They're like, yo, they're fucking with you, man. And after years of wanting that, it only left me with emptiness because I realized that their acceptance means nothing without accepting myself first and foremost. And so having that acceptance of myself prior to the release of this album, not giving a shit, was a very beautiful place to be. But my whole career, it was just, you're not good enough. Everywhere you go, you're not good enough. You're not this enough. It's some radio host shitting on you. It's some this, that, whatever. And it's just like, that shit is hard, man. It's hard to hear because you love those people. Because you actually are a fan of those people and you watch their shows. And, before anyone even knew who you were a part of the... I was on Rap Genius before I was Logic annotating my favorite rapper's lyrics. So I was a part of that community. And then to like, just, I guess, be shit on. And mind you, once again, it is a minority. But when that minority, you were a part of that circle, it feels like the whole world. And that's why it's like I could, from my last album, everyone's like, oh, Confessions and da-da-da, whatever. It's one of my most popular albums, one of my most streamed albums. And to be in an arena of people and feel like a failure, if that ain't a fucking reason to leave this thing that is making you feel bad, I don't know what else is. So I found that happiness and understanding that I'm not running from the internet. My God, I was at its birth. I've been a vet, going berserk like Peter down at Initech. It's deeper than the surface. I'm searching for purpose. I'm tired of searching for logic and Google on purpose just to read that I'm worthless. Was tired of these people having such power over me that I was telling myself I'm not good enough. And on this album, I came to the conclusion that I was and always have been, because I'm a good person and I love music and I care about myself and those around me, and that's all that matters.
No, and I hear that, and it's about the work you put on yourself. But I'm going to add also, and you've always been a hell of an MC. You know what I mean?
Thanks, brother.
And you see it, and I get what you, because you see the criticisms, you see it online, and I think just about every artist goes through that phase where they just maybe fall out of favor with the quote unquote cool crowd, or just wherever you're seeking acceptance from. But at the same time, I remember when you was on the Prime album, with Royce and Premier, and even me interviewing Royce about it, and yo man, yeah, we got Logic on this album, and the excitement of that, you know what I'm saying? So you definitely got respect. The fans love you, and there was MCs, whose pen were deadly, who could hear a Logic verse and hear exactly what you're doing and hear the technicality and then give the respect.
See, but that's another thing that I appreciate you saying that, and I had come to terms with understanding that it's like Wu-Tang fucks with me, Badu fucks with me, Premier fucks with me, No I.D fucks with me, Jay-Z fucks with me, Kendrick and J. Cole. J. Cole hit me to congratulate me on his fucking album and what it meant to him and what I mean to him. And I'm like, what I mean to you? Do you know what you mean to me? You can hear it on this album. Like, realizing that the people I love respect me and have always respected me. Like, that's all that matters, man. That's all that matters to me. And it's incredible to kind of be in this place where am just really like legitimately finally happy, man. Because I haven't been fulfilled and happy for my entire career. Once again, it was never good enough. Another step on the ladder to go, whatever. And now I'm just here like it ain't no more steps. I'm just gonna live and love and laugh. No, I'm just kidding. And enjoy life, bro.
Now, and that's dope that you said that Cole hit you, because I mean Cole dropped something last week, just a couple of days ago too. So it's like in the
Shit is fire. I told him, I was like, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. I was like, dog. I was like, you're always saying some shit. So let me listen just to the flow. Because I already know you saying some real shit. His flow, crazy.
Yeah. But for him to stop what he's doing, and J. Cole, aside from being an MC, it's a big business. He moves a lot. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of coordination that may come with a release and a drop. And no matter what's going on in the business, for him to stop and say, "Nah, I gotta hit my man up and congratulate him on this one." He's in the midst of his own thing.
To me.
That's that MC to MC shit. That you know what I mean?
No, I completely agree, and it was Anytime I talk to Cole, it always means a lot to me because of how much he means to me.
I just want to talk about some of these, because we're talking about rapping. Soul Food 2 has some of the best rapping on the album. That's
Thanks.
The Truth, Feeling Close to the Cliff, like Rick Dalton in the booth.
I wrote that line. Oh my God. I wrote that fucking line when the trailer came out, like 9 months or however long before the fucking movie was even out. No, it wasn't even the trailer. It was me reading a synopsis about the main characters. And just, that was it. I just knew it was Rick Dalton and Cliff Booth. And I had no understanding of it. And I just wrote that line. I wanted to be one of the first because I stand for Tarantino.
That's all. Yeah, it's that Bobby Tarantino shit, man. And the other shit that was really dope on that, I said I'm on one. I know I'm unsung. Was living my life backwards like Tariq on Undone. And now they wonder how I got over, son. And then the Do You Want More?
Do You Want More? Yeah.
So, just again, and we're talking about, for those that don't know, Tariq is Black Thought from the Roots. You just intertwined 3 different Roots album titles within one metaphor and made it all make sense, man. So, like, the rapping on this shit is high level, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I really did have fun. I really did have fun, man, making this album. It was hard at times, and then it was also just extremely fun. And I was able to just enjoy myself, but it was also very difficult. I don't know how to explain it. It was like a culmination of having the best time ever while honestly knowing that there was a sense of pressure that because this would be my last album, shout out my assistant Ace, that it had to be, every joint just had to be the best it could possibly be, And I recorded a lot of songs for this album. But it's funny because the majority of the records were made in those first 4 studio sessions with me and No I.D, and those are the ones that really made it.
What does he tell you at this point? Because I seen you I think it was in the interview, shout out with Nick Huff with the Hard Knock interview.
Yeah.
Where you kind of talked about No I.D being, if this was your Yeezus, he's your Rick Rubin. Almost like your Svengali, the guru. What were the conversations? What were like the driving conversations that he gave to you that really helped shape this?
I'm addicted to the internet. I'm addicted to social media. I have an addiction problem with it. Once again, because I grew up in it. And one big thing that he said the things that we did as children, we should not be doing as men. And ever since I was a kid, I was on the internet, and I placed value in that. That was one of the biggest things. It's funny, you can actually hear No I.D speak on Growing Pains 4. He says, fuck it, just say the shit then. And that's like his catchphrase. He always says that. I'm like, man, how can I just say this if should I write it like this and did it? And he's like, man, just say the shit, man. Just say it. And I was like, yo, you got to say that on the album. The conversations of value, life, family, friends, what's important, what isn't. Those are the things that shaped this album, man. Like, it's crazy how far a conversation really can go.
Speaking of conversations, and you're talking about the No I.D conversations, Erykah Badu. Again, I love the story of this album because Man I Is, which is right now my favorite song in the album, samples Outkast, Spodioti, and also Dreamflower by Tarika Blue, which Erykah Badu famously used on Didn't You Know, which was a Dilla produced sample. And you foreshadow that song before it even comes on Growing Pains 4. You rap about texting Erykah to speak to her about getting, about using the sample.
Yeah.
How did that all come together?
I actually have no idea how me and Erykah Badu even came into contact, like, with each other, actually, which is really weird. But it's always been extremely friendly. She's just like the sweetest woman ever, goddess. Um, and just every now and again, we would just like, and it's always, we're texting about other shit like family, my baby. I'm texting her like pictures of my baby and shit. I'm just like, she'll be like, hey, thinking of you, sending love. I hope you're okay. I do the same. And it's very nice to be appreciated and thought of, especially by such incredible, immaculate artists that you appreciate and respect and love. And then every once in a while, we talk about music. Like she was always down to do a record, but we never found the right one to do because she's very meticulous about what she wants to do and not, and this and that, which I respect and love. And yeah, so I just remember texting her and being like, hey, I got this song where I sampled Tarika Blue. Is that okay? And she was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then she just FaceTimes me and just tells me the whole story about how she was in the studio with Dilla and, went through and found the record and just thought it had a really pretty album cover on vinyl. And, Dilla put it on the joint and they listened to it. And then there was that one spot and he found it and looped it and threw. It was just really incredible. One thing that was funny though is she was like, I thought you already did this with Erykah Badu. I thought you already sampled that. Oh, that's how we got connected because she heard the record and was like, this shit is dope. And somehow got my number and then we started texting each other. That's how it happened. And I was like, no. That was actually an original composition that just kind of sounded like it with the bass line. What is that? Young Sinatra? Was that BT? Was that Bobby Tarantino too?
That was.
I think it was. I think Erykah Badu's Bobby
Yeah.
Tarantino too. And I think it was originally supposed to be Young Sinatra 4 because I made those albums at the same time. This is shit people don't even know. They're really, because, for somebody to be like, this is better than this and this, it's like I made all those records and just went, pew, pew, this is going to go here, this is going to go there. So it's all whatever. That's why I don't give a shit about, it's like last year, oh, let's clown Logic, this album, blah, 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 because it's so pop and known. And then now this year, it's like, oh, wow, return to form. People love you, hate you, ups, downs. I will be remembered for my catalog, including mixtapes, including freestyles, that's how I'm going to be remembered. And when I create music, I think that. And so she had hit me and she told me this incredible story about Dilla creating a beat. And I had told her, no, me and Six kind of created that vibe in the drums for Erykah Badu. And I was like, that's why I'm coming to you for your permission. She was like, oh, baby, like, yeah, you got it, no problem. And I thought that was very sweet of her. And she just told me this whole story and gave me her blessing. And it was like one of the best days of my life. And I was drunk playing poker with my friends. And I was like, everybody shut the fuck up. Erykah Badu is FaceTiming me right now. Shut the fuck up. And I was like, hey, what's up? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so funny.
That's hard. Amen is like a farewell letter to the fans, to the Rat Pack. Or at least that's how I heard it.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'm sure in writing it, you start thinking about the moments, right? You start thinking about the interactions, the celebrations, the things that you've accomplished, but that you and the Rat Pack accomplished together. You know what I'm saying? What was the biggest accomplishment for you, or the biggest kind of win that felt like your win, but our win as well as the people who have been championing you?
Probably this album, the release of it, the reason why I did it, all the feeling that went into it. I think releasing, one thing, because I'll have homies, they'll let me know, like if somebody says something a little too outlandish or wild that I feel should be brought to my attention, they'll let me know. So I have a gauge of at least what's going on in the world. And for this, it's been insanely positive. And one of the things that my homies will tell me, they'll be like, bittersweet, like you said. A lot of people are like, damn, low key, his best album is his last album. And I like that. I think that this moment of I made it came years after actually making it, because I'm not like, I made it, I'm rich, or I made it, I'm famous, or I made it, I went #1. It's like, yo, I made it. I'm about to go chill with my family. I made it. My son is healthy. I made it. I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, it's all the things that you don't think are like the things, or at least the things I didn't think would bring me happiness, because they're very, not that I didn't think my son wouldn't bring me happiness, not like that, but just, it isn't the money. It isn't the material possessions. That shit is nice. You know what I mean? That shit is dope. But just this is the moment where I was like, yeah, this is all I ever wanted. I wanted the undeniable respect from the hip hop community, which I know I have, especially in this album. And I mean, you hear it on Dad Bod. Love him or hate him, everybody, no logic is spit. You know what I mean? Like, and then even making fun of myself, like, this, that lyrical, miracle, spiritual, poetic, rhetoric, letter. Like, it's just like,
I hope people get that you were being
just having fun.
I hope people get that was a joke.
And if they don't, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, especially, have you seen the music video?
I watched the music video today. Yeah.
Yeah, to not see me in my pool laughing at myself, it's like, come on. But that's what I've learned. Fuck them. Like, I used to really like, oh, love me, please,
was there
love me. And
was there one that hurt you in particular? Like one criticism or one? There was a lot of bullets.
Probably, honestly, if I'm gonna be real, probably Budden and Charlamagne. So let me just say this and let me address this now, because this I usually don't do shit like this. I don't talk about things like this. So I'm gonna talk about it because I know they'll both see it. I really fuck with Charlamagne and I respect Charlamagne. Let me just say that now. When he basically kind of called me homophobic without even watching an interview, and I was like, I didn't even say that, and then for him to just out his mouth be like, yo, who raped your sister? Like, so callous, like, that fucked me up. And I actually held on to that for like 6 years, man. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this isn't healthy. And I'm talking to my therapist about it. And I put it on record. I talk my shit on a record, right? You know what I mean? On clickbait or whatever. Right. And it's history. It doesn't fucking matter. I respect Charlamagne. Some of the shit he be saying is wild. You know what I mean? Like, asking me what I'm doing for the Black Lives Matter movement as a black man who looks white. Like, what kind of fucking question is that? Personally, that's the shit that makes me not feel accepted. Or excuse me, did not at the time, you know? But there's no issue, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and he's not the type of motherfucker to hold a grudge either. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't that deep. If I saw Charlamagne, I'd be like, what's up? I actually would love to talk to Charlamagne.
Can I work on that? Can I hook y'all up?
Yeah, for sure, dog. Cause like, I really respect him. I think a lot of what he does too is like, he's not stupid. He's a radio personality, dog. You know what I mean? Like, and he's a damn good one. So I get it. Some of the shit he says, I don't really fuck with, not even towards me, but how he might approach certain other people. But I wish the man no ill will. I think we actually have a lot in common. I think, you know, what he discusses when it comes to mental health and depression and is extremely important and very valid. And I guess the one thing I just wish we could have done was me and him and everybody, because I fuck with Angela, I fuck with Envy, and I wish we could have sat down. And this is why I don't do certain interviews, because as soon as you sit down, it's like an attack. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why'd you say this? And what's this about? And blah, 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 blah. And I just don't really personally like that. I'd love, like, when he sat down with Ye a couple of years ago and they just had a conversation.
It was a different setting. It was a different, and the setting sets the tone. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So with that being said about Charlamagne, if you do see this, if you do watch this, you are just a part, as much a part of this culture as I am, and I love you as a brother. And this isn't me trying to, everything's cool. Like, bro, like, yeah, like, it ain't no hard feelings from me, and I wish you and your family the best. Regarding Joe, and I don't really talk about shit like this, but I'm bringing it up. You asked me, I could have easily averted it and been like, yeah, no, whatever. Right. But Joe, I don't know what his issue with me. I've never met him. I've never shaken his hand. I've always been authentically myself. I don't really know what his issue is. I saw him. I didn't see him. I heard that he had apologized to me for some of the things he said regarding my retirement. Thank you for that. I mean, I think we all know Joe's saying I'm the worst MC to ever grace the microphone. It's just, but come on, Joe's getting his numbers, whatever. I don't even give a fuck. But I will say regarding, that too, that's like, yeah, it's just that kind of harsh, angry take on everything is that's the shit that I don't really fuck with. But regarding his opinion, it's his opinion. And though I may not agree with it, I respect his opinion and I respect him having that. So for me, it's all peace and love. Those are the only two people that ever really, really kind of had rubbed me the wrong way. And that's my fucking problem.
Right.
That's not their problem. They're who they are and they are this. And honestly, it's not even my problem anymore. It's something that I've let go and released and understood. It's a big part of retiring, not because of them, but because of it. None of this shit even matters. It's all opinion and, whatever. And so because of that, yeah. So nothing but love to them, honestly, regardless of how they may personally feel about me. I do wish them continued success and hope they enjoy the album.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna reach out to Charlamagne, because I do think there's like common ground at least to have an understanding, and not that you're holding on to anything or anything that needs to be fixed. Because I don't.
No,
think
I don't even think it's that deep.
Yeah,
I don't think me and him are going to sleep like.
Nah, he's not dwelling.
Like you know what I mean? Like it's really, it's not. It ain't.
But y'all do
dog. That shit.
That's a dude that I know that loves hip hop like you love hip hop.
Yeah.
His favorite rapper is number one on his top 5 MCs of all time is Ghostface Killer. So it's a certain type of you know what I'm saying? Like it's a certain type of dude that would come up with that opinion, which is the same with you. Not that Ghost is your favorite, but there's certain types of MCs you hold in high regard. Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But let me reach out and then I'll reach out to you. I want to make that connection at least so y'all have an understanding, because I think y'all both speak a lot on mental health.
I think we'd have some really great conversations if we take all this other shit out of it and we just talk. I think we'd have a phenomenal conversation. Actually.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Let me hook that up. Obediently Yours, the Orson Welles sample, the commentary. Usually we get that on the album in lyrical form. We didn't get as much of that. This was like a celebration of you and your transformation and how you felt about yourself, and then how you feel about yourself now and stuff like that. But when the last track rolled in and we just got that kind of speech and that sample, it really felt like I was like, wow, he really touched on all the things. Not just personally, but what was going on in the world. What made you want to include that sample to kind of close out where we are? I mean, in it, Orson Welles is talking about, and this is 1946, right? He's talking about fighting racism in America. And so what made you want to end on that note?
I actually received a very beautiful letter from his daughter thanking me for that. And I thank her for allowing us to use it. It's serendipitous, man. It just kind of happened. I sample Orson on the intro, right? Using his voice as though it's my voice, addressing the listener and introducing them to the record. And like on one of the very last days before we turned in the album, I was like, man, I wonder if Orson has like a dope outro, just something dope, like which he would do at the end of his radio plays. And just, this is, and then once again, Logic, like, thank you for tuning in. It's been amazing. It's been incredible. Like, peace out type shit. Like, that's what I thought I was going to be able to find from him. And like the first thing I click on was this speech. And I was like, yo, how serendipitous is that? And I kind of chopped, it's like 14 minutes. And I chopped it up to really address what I think is going on. And it's not something that I was necessarily going to talk about because I've been talking about this shit my whole fucking career. Injustice of people. And I think it was just the universe, man. They were just like, yo, here you go. You need this and the world needs this. So do the best that you can creatively to put that out there. And I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it's really poignant. I hope that people when they take the time to listen, to really internalize that Orson Welles said this in 1946, and some of what he's getting at in that speech is the debt that America owes to slaves and to free slaves, and I think we're still talking about that today.
Yeah.
That cultural debt that America was built on, slavery, and shit is not right until you acknowledge that and fix that. As best you can. And I don't know if it could ever be fixed, but definitely, there's parts of the country and Americans who don't even want to acknowledge that this was a problem or that's in the past, and stuff like that.
I know.
So
It's crazy.
it's poignant to hear that, and it's also like, damn, we've been having this conversation since at least 1946, and obviously it's been going on before that. Like, when is shit going to change? And I really think this is the generation that's going to change it. I hope, So it was dope to hear your album end on that note. Man, look, we can go on forever. Look, we done did a 3-hour, 4-hour interview before, man. But
nah.
I just kind of wanted to touch on the things and ultimately wanted to do this with you. We obviously can't be in close proximity, but I wanted to congratulate you on your career. Okay.
Thanks.
I wanted to thank you for the things that you've done for hip hop, and then for me personally, man, we've done since we first met when I was at MTV and Rap Fix Days, and we did Under Pressure together, and we did The Incredible True Story together at Genius, and I remember that was the night that I met Silas for the first time, and to hear him on Celebration, kind of brings things full circle. We've done this for just about every album, and through your music and conversation with you, man, I don't know how you realize how influential you've been. I started releasing music a couple of years ago, and that was a conversation that we had driving from Manhattan down to Gaithersburg and talking about Mos Def and Tribe Called Quest and nerding out on music. And you was like, yo, you should just put out music. I know you rap. Just put the shit out. You know what I'm saying? To doing the Barclays together, and you bringing me on stage for the Barclays together. To I'm a rap genius like Raw Markman, bro. You've always kind of propelled me up. And it meant a lot to get that respect from you as the MC that you are and the shit that you're capable of. So I just wanted to thank you for that, and know that this is not obviously the end. We're going to see more of Bobby, even if this is the last Logic album. I know you're going to be out here doing movies. You got your Twitch deal. So I know this isn't goodbye, but definitely wanted to give you the flowers while you could still smell them. You know what I mean?
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And it makes me very happy that you would say that to me, and I appreciate you, and I love you, and it's been a fun journey, and I'm just excited to focus on fatherhood and other forms of creativity. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
And thank y'all for watching. As y'all know, this is For the Record. And who knows, man? Maybe we'll have Bobby come back. Maybe it'll be an anniversary of Under Pressure. All these things. There's still things to celebrate, man. While it's the end of the albums, we're still friends, so we'll still be there, man. So thank y'all for watching, man. It's been For the Record. Peace.